What is up, dudes and dudettes? This is Diligence here, and today let's talk about the hot topic. Consider we're still, I don't know. I think our community is now split in half. I think we have 50% MMAT, the previous ones, and some people were leaving, some people were coming into for the information that we're giving, for the analysis we're giving, and we have another 50% really like my SPY content and really like my other stock content, like for example CEI. Sorry about like not having like very not like really recent, because the master's program and right now I'm in the process of meeting VCs for a startup that I'm developing. It's really like close to heart to stock analysis and stock trading and option trading, and I have a really big plan for that. So I need to finish my deck. I have a meeting with a VC next Friday. I have this Friday, which is today, I was gonna go for another meeting, maybe seek some potential fundings and look for some co-founders in terms of like the coding part of the thing. So I'm a little bit busy. So then a lot of times, like publicly on YouTube, sometimes I just tell you guys, okay, here are the price range and here are some of the stuff you need to like think about. Here's the price range, and you make your own decision. And on Patreon, most of the times I will just put some real-time trade on there. Sometimes there's a delay, and sometimes when I'm super busy, I just don't have time for the morning brief. So I'm so sorry for you guys who are looking for that. And everything is gonna probably resume to normal by the end of next week, depending on how fast I can finish my deck. Because if you are in a startup scene, you know that sometimes when you have one idea and then like you branch out a lot, and then when you sort of branch out, there's some problems that you see when you first develop the idea. You don't see it, and then you have to like adjust those. And when you're making pitch decks, there are a lot of things you need to think about, like what is the problem you're solving, what are solutions. If you guys want me to talk about startup at all, I will make separate videos about it, because me and number two have been doing this for years. For me, I had not like 3 failed startups, but just like in a process of being an entrepreneur, I learned so many things, and I've already like grow out of 3 startups and 3 old ideas I had before. And then now it's the fourth one. I guess fourth one's the charm. I do think this one have a bigger market, and this one is the things that I've been working on for like at least 5 or 6 years, because that's the time I've been trading, right? So then this thing's gonna be really great, and there's gonna be some free version of it, beta testing version, that I'm gonna let my Patreon members try. And when a lot of maybe after beta testing, I will let Discord members to do beta testing. So if you want to join on Discord link is down below. If you want to join Patreon, the Patreon link is also down below. And today we're gonna talk about MMTLP, which is sort of like a confusing thing, because technically it's a off-market trading instrument. It's basically a preferred stock, not really option, it's preferred stock that you can trade on the NASDAQ. Whoa, now it got halted. Now it went back. So what happens is if you remember, like back in June, about June 24th, Torchlight, or right now MMAT, issued special dividends, right? Every 1 share of Torchlight you hold back then, you will have 1 share of stock dividend, which is right now the preferred share. And the whole idea of this instrument is, by the end of this year, when Torchlight liquidate their assets, including the Ariana Grande project, which is the oil field, if you guys want to know more about that, we're gonna put links on top of the screen. You can click on that video to understand what it's really about. Basically, Torchlight used to hold a bunch of like oil fields, and then they liquidated most of it, and then they have one of their biggest holdings left over, and they believe that there's going to be about 2 billion barrels worth of oil there, but it never get confirmed. So on our channel, on Discord, or on our Patreon group, we're a little bit skeptical of how much oil they actually have. And then we did sort of like a small appraisal, and we have some oil giants or people who understand the oil business in our Discord said they did their own analysis, and we reached a conclusion that we think that the dividend payout is going to be less than 50 cents. So then if the dividend payout is less than 50 cents, that just means the MMTLP, we think the eventual payout of this special dividend shares or dividend stocks is going to be less than 0.5. So then when it started trading yesterday, we are really excited because it went, to 0.7, and this morning it went all the way up to 3.2. And if you pay close attention to what I've been doing, basically I've been developing my own algo trading algorithm, and I'm trying to source or aggregate or basically delegate some of my trading duties to this thing called Felicity, which is a AI system that I named it. It's not really completed yet, but it can basically do some basic functions right now. And then, my thing actually sold it around $2.5 today for the special dividend thingy. And, it's not like the best because it's still learning at all. Like, I wish it was sell at 3, but in terms of like how the technical analysis goes, like collecting data and then do a bunch of fundamental analysis, if for us, like we believe that eventual payout is going to be 50 cents, and $2, it's not that bad. $2.5 is not that bad. I even sold some like a 1.8 or like 1.7. And here are the things that you need to know, right? So MMTLP is basically a preferred shares, and then when they're openly trading this, there are two possibilities why they open up the trading, and one of the possibility is they're giving the shorts a way out of their dividend payout. So how does it work is, a lot of us were talking about a potential short squeeze later on in this year around December. Because around December, if Torchlight actually sold all of the oil fields, they're gonna pay us, right, the shareholders, how much they sold. Let's just say they sold their, let's make it simple, right? Let's just say if they sold their oil field for, so there are about 280 million shares of MMTLP outstanding. So let's just say they sold their oil asset for 280 million. That means every wait a second, $2. Wait a second. I don't remember how much outstanding shares are there. I think there are 280 million outstanding shares. Let's just say they sold their assets for 280 million. I could be wrong for the outstanding share. I need to go back and check it. But this is going to be a very fast video of explaining the logic of it. If I said anything wrong or you guys can back check me, just let me know and then comment down below, right? Let's just say there are 280 million shares outstanding, and then they sold their asset for $200 million. That means MMATLP will will eventually become $1 per share. And then on the day let's just December 31st, 2021, right? And then you will just get automatically payout, and then this ticker will just disappear, right? And then what is interesting about this is because when they issued a special dividend, whoever shorted Torchlight around June 24th that they didn't liquidate their position, which is a lot of them, right? You at least have, back then you at least have like 50 million shares shorted. So if you have 50 million shares shorted on the 24th, that means there are at least 50 million shares of MMTLP that is basically deadlocked into the stock. This is why a lot of people think there's going to be a short squeeze, because when the dividend payout, that means the shorts have to spit out the $50 million portion of this 280 million, right? This is how, short selling works. Because when you have special dividends, the short sellers have to pay the dividend instead of the company. So when you start, but here's the interesting thing. When you can trade MMTLP on the open market, that means one, the shorts can buy it at a pretty hefty discount, like $0.8. Think about it, right? When they shorted MMAT, they shorted it at $10, right? And then this stock all the way go down to $3. But the irony is, when it's at $3, they cannot liquidate their entire position because they're deadlocked by the dividend rule, right? So right now the stock is $5. So 10 minus 5 equals to $5 per share. You still make $5 per share. And then if you pay the $0.8 per share, that means you can make at least $4.2 per share on your shorts, and you can liquidate this. And this is just money, like on hand, right? When you liquidate this, you literally have $4.2 per share times how many shares, times the shares that you shorted. This much of this is liquidity. This is like automatically going into your account, right? And then right now we know that, hey, November 9th, we might have a taper coming. And by June 23rd, 2022, we might have an interest hike. That means this long-weighted liquidity is totally worth paying a 0.8 premium or 0.8 discount. This is the reason why we see a huge short squeeze this morning on this instrument. And again, preferred shares are not usually traded on a NASDAQ. The reason why it's traded is because it's issued as MMAT-A before, and then now it becomes MMTLP. You get what I'm trying to say? And a lot of people are saying, oh, on a minute chart, it's on an uptrend, right? If you look at the uptrend, like it looks like this. But the interesting part is, this morning my algorithm already told me that the actual like, you know, stabilization trading flat point is about 2.226. So for me, if I sell it at 2.5, I'm already complacent. I'm really complacent because I think the true value of this is less than 0.5. So now I just made 5x of my expectation. I'm really happy with this. And you have, for you guys who want to buy more and more of this, there's one cautionary tale, because right now on Robinhood, on Hood, you can only sell but you cannot buy. This basically make it a supply demand problem. That means the supply is limited, right? The supply is limited and the demand is infinite, right? Does that make sense? The demand is infinite. This is why it will just go up and up. But when all of the big exchanges open up to trade and buy this, that means the supply becomes like infinite, because you have access to those supply, and then the demand will go down. This will make this price drop. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm just gonna give you a price range for you guys to think about. So the price range in terms of the short-term thing is, this is actually super volatile thing. I don't think it's gonna go back to $3 again. So I will just give it a upward at $3, and then I'll give a downward at, I don't know, I literally think it worth, you know, let's just say $1. Let's put it like that. If you just want to flip it, sure, why not, right? And just like clarify what I said before, I said when the other big exchanges open up that you can buy this, what's gonna happen is on day one, when Robinhood open up, you can buy it. You will see a temporary pull up in the morning. You will say a temporary pull up in the morning, and then immediately after that, it's just gonna get dumped. Because for MMTLP, right? If you guys want a detailed video about how I drive my conclusions, you guys can comment down below. I'll make one that tell you guys like what do I think and why do I think you know, it will happen like that. Because we know the biggest holder of this. We know the float, the percent float of, in terms of like how much the biggest holder hold and how much the retail float hold. Right? And we can drive the basically a forecasted demand for how many people will want to buy this by how many people is holding MMAT share right now. Does that make sense? And then if you look at the company balance sheet, the preferred stock right now, this one, is not actually registered on the SEC filing on the recent 10K or 10Q actually. That means most likely the Torchlight Orion Grande or Oro Grande project of the oil field is going to be a spin-off rather than actually give the dividend payout. So depending on the terms and the agreement that, you know, the board is going to make, I do think they are going to do a spin-off. So if you guys are looking for them to sell their asset, I don't think it's possible. Unless they got a really great offer from some big boys who wanna take over their oil field. But as you guys know, that the oil field business is pretty great right now because the oil price is increasing over time. So yeah, and you guys know I'm long on oil, and it already reached my target price of 80, right? I think in early June, I said it's gonna be 73, and then later on, I said it's gonna reach to 80. It's gonna have a temporary pull down. It's gonna go back up, and the Goldman Sachs, you know, is at 90. So we can actually do a appraisal on MMTLP when oil reaches 90 or 120. But the true value of this is, I do think, is less than $0.5. Because if you do the math, right, times, let's just say it's $2 per share, this dividend. So basically you're saying that the oil field is worth of $560 million, which could be a very ridiculous valuation. And because it's still pegged to MMAT's main stock, that means technically speaking, MMAT stock supposed to increase about $0.5 per share by now, which right now the value of MMAT stocks is about 5. Let's go check MMAT. MMAT is about 5.26. So if the dividend stabilizes at $2, that means we probably will see a 5.8 action by the end of next week. So yeah, this is it for this video. Hope you guys love it. See you guys on the upside.